Hi, my name is Madeline and welcome to my watercolor birch trees tutorial. I'm going to start off this tutorial by listing off the supplies that I'm going to be using. Feel free to pause the screen so that you can see the supplies. We are going to start off with some masking fluid. I'm just using a cheap brush that I like to use for masking fluid. I have some soap right here and I have a kind of liquidy masking fluid that I like. And the first thing that we're going to do after I have taped off my watercolor paper is to paint some birch trees that I will be masking, and then we are going to paint the background. And then once the background is dry, we're going to rub off the masking fluid and paint in the birch trees. I'm just going to mask off a few on the right side and a few on the left side. For the center right here, I'm just going to mask off some thinner trees so that it looks like they're a little bit further away from us. Now I am going to dry this first layer off and we'll start by painting our background wash. I'm using a Polina Bright Round 2 brush and I'm going to pick up some pastel pink, purple, and blue. Oh, I forgot I want to wet the paper first because I do want to do this background wash wet on wet so that our colors blend and bleed together. So I'm going to start off with pink on the bottom and I'm going to do blue at the top with some purple in between. I really like how that looks, so I'm going to wipe off the sides and I'm going to dry this layer off with a hot air tool. Now that that layer has completely dried, I'm going to get the masking fluid off. I normally do this with a gummy eraser, but I lost mine, so I just rubbed it off. And now I am going to paint the birch trees in with some buff titanium. I'm going to play around with dropping in some brown while the tree trunk is still wet to see if I like it like this or if I want to do this part wet on dry. And I think I like it better wet on dry, so I'm going to paint in the rest of the birch trees and then we'll come in with a liner to do some of the tree details. And to paint the trees in, I'm not going to paint like a solid block of buff titanium. I'm going to dilute it in some places and have it darker in other areas so that the tree trunk looks a little bit more dynamic. I really like how those trees look, and so I'm going to take my hot air tool and I'm going to dry this off. And now that it's dry, I'm going to grab a liner brush and I am going to paint the tree bark wet on dry. So I have a dark brown and I have a liner brush, and what I'm doing is painting in the side of the brush, and then I'm sort of making like a rough V going inwards. For these trees that are a little bit further back, I'm going to make these brown marks a little bit smaller. And now I'm going to add a little bit of branches. I'm going to add some branches kind of poking out. And that's it for the trees. Now I'm going to add just a flock of birds with my liner brush and some diluted brown. And then once everything has completely dried, you can peel the masking tape off. And I just love how soft and loose these trees are. If you liked this tutorial, please hit the like button. It's a really small way to help my channel grow. And if you enjoy my content, use the following QR codes to either find me on Patreon or Instagram.